Okay, and we're back. You may have saw my video this morning. I'm gonna be adding on to the full video for this. It's a edit. So we figured out that the contraption I was making was too complicated and it wouldn't work. I've actually made something, and it's a little bit of a cheat, and it's still a work in progress. But now it does basically do what we're wanting it to do. And ignore the gimbal lock. That's just his arm gimbaling because it's just gonna gimbal at certain positions. I think it's because my object rotation's a little bit wrong. 1 second. Let me fix this. I'm pretty sure this is you gotta watch out for this bullshit. Okay. It's still gimbals a little bit, but get the idea is that like we're supposed to be taking that, and you can see that this chain is now pretty well parented in a way that works for our character and is actually in itself. And obviously this is just once again gimbal lock. A little bit of it. We can negate some of this by turning certain things in rotation and transition to what's happening, and maybe it will cancel out another part of the gimbal lock. Like see now it's not too bad. It's a little bit bad. Still have to work on that. Gimbal lock's always going to be kind of a problem. But you can get the idea that we get this kind of, and I see the first arm is not really a problem, which is you have to just work out why it's doing that. But we get this kind of happy-go-lucky ideal thing where the chain's always parented to him. Now the only cheat with this is it's kind of lengthening and growing a little bit, as you can see, because of the wire deformer. But it's really like if you're like looking at it from out here and the scope is that, like you're gonna notice it by like a ½ inch. I was playing around this morning. I was like, how the fuck do I? And pardon my French and language, don't speak like that language. But I was trying to figure out how to get this to actually work and be favorable for animation, so I can actually start animating shots with this guy. And it really came down to just being like, okay, we know that we want these chains to kind of turn and move around in a way that's pretty favorable, and we do lose some shape, and it keeps most of it because our locators are well kept together. But it's like so a micro change in shape that it's kind of fun and it's kind of cartoony, and you can kind of get around it because the main thing is he's got this whole system that kind of comes with him, and there's a few little features that I've kind of built in so that you can like kind of roll this chain and his arm and back into its like starting position on like either side of him to get like different reactions. It kind of honestly breaks the chain a little bit naturally in its form, but there's a way of counteracting this. Like you can just like grab like this and then just kind of like put it back in here and do a few things to kind of like counteract that. There's always going to be some little changes, and you can obviously when you're doing this, you can kind of change his wrist orientation back. And then you can sort of like say, okay, maybe I'm actually getting back into like where I want it to be. I can maybe take that chain and then fix what's happening here. There's always going to be little breaks and kind of little cheats for this kind of system. And it's a very hard configuration to make because this character is in a very specific position at the start of what he's doing. And you might wonder, okay, well, this is great. Maybe this thing is attached to him, but like, can I get it free? And the answer is yes. This is like I built in a thing, and I'm still believe if this is working properly. It's good. Yep. I think is it there? Yeah. So you'll see that now no longer does it behave with his wrist movements. So now it's fully free, and I can just still like use that whole system, and go and do that. But I can move like his body now, and like it's not gonna break or inhibit any values. I gotta make sure. I probably should change the parenting order from that and make sure that whenever you switch that off, it's not gonna be parented to what his hips are doing. So that's like the one thing I've got to work. It's not gonna be on his hips. It's gonna be parented to his hips, and then when you change, I'll just show right now for demonstrational purposes. Because like what's basically happening is there's a group, two groups. One that's parented right now to his hips. We don't want that. It's pretty much going to break our whole system. I want to just like live on the root of the rig, so it can cloud up our outliner. It goes somewhere now at least. But yeah, not that. I want it to be on like the actual root control. So take that again, and then put that on there, so that it comes along for the ride no matter what when we're placing our character in the scene. And then I'm gonna take this thing that's his hips. The main reason why I want his hips to be doing this is because I'm trying to think the best order of this, because I want to be able to twist his other areas on his body and get this to come with him in the best way. Because like the main thing we're gonna run into is wherever this is facing, we want to like get these handcuffs to come along. And obviously it's currently turned off right now. So I'd like to parent this cube that basically resonates with where this is going to go after it gets detached onto that thing. So I'm going to take this and hit constrain parent. And then I'm going to hook that parent into this switch. So I'm going to go into my outliner, or sorry, node editor. I think I should have this guy already, don't I? Yeah, I was doing something else in here earlier. And then I'm going to grab that cube and its constraint. And we'll just make sure that this will turn off this constraint when it won't be parent to his chest anymore. So it should probably be off. Well, it should be on right now, because is our switch on? What's our switch doing? So let's take it. That's like our favorable. Oh, give that a second to refresh. This is our favorable thing where this thing is parented to his wrist, I guess, if I'm remembering my order. Yeah. Yep. Okay. And then that means you can see that cube disappeared. That cube only exists basically when this is at 0. I just basically like rigged the shapes, like the actual shapes of this curve to disappear. And then now obviously it still goes free. You can like do his thing, and then I can say, okay, well, I want to go in now. Let's say I want to put my character. Where's the ribcage independence? I want to move his chest, right? And ignore gimbal lock. So now I can start moving his chest again once he's free from it, because there's a point where the shackles have to break free. And then this is now its own self-contained rig, and I can just like, take it over there and have the part where the shackles fall down, and then have it be its own self-contained thing. And it doesn't break anything. It just still all works together. It's obviously like this whole system's a little bit limiting, and you're only going to get so much leverage from it. But I need to get on actually animating these shots, so it's like I had to throw together something that's like pretty much going to do what I want it to. And I know that was a few things. It was like basically like a parent done this to him. For example, the main thing that you're going to run into is when he's walking and you want a favorable reaction, is that this just naturally, and I gotta fix whatever this is going on with this gimbal lock. You want this chain to naturally come along with them so that you can do a walk in kind of a favorable manner. That's like the whole thing, really. It's just otherwise like acting becomes so tricky with these shackles moving around with him, and him like posing and gesturing and gesticulating and doing all this stuff is all of a sudden impossible. Especially in situations like this where I want to grab his pelvis IK and sort of bend him down and get him ready for a walk. Is these shackles are already coming with him in a favorable kind of position, and he's doing what he should be doing basically. And it's once again, a little limiting, but I think this will get me through the film. Hope you enjoyed that. It's if you want more questions on how I did this and like a larger breakdown, feel free to leave that in the comments. It's mostly just a wire deformer with a few tricks of some locators and control points and parenting systems to get this to like, do its thing and keep mostly the chain shape. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I was messing around with it today to get it to actually be what I need it to be.